moved over to. This is definitely a very interesting Darius spot. So we're going to have the two Juggernauts. Actually, one of the other Dittos in League of Legends. So we have Yone, who's disabled, and he's also disabled through Worlds.
And he's a Ditto to Yasuo.
Both sad. That is he's a Ditto to Yasuo, and then we have Mordekaiser and Darius. So I believe these are the only two Ditto champion matchups that exist in League's current state.
And
so they're very
Juggernaut
similar.
patch came in, it was Garen as well, right? It was the three of them that were considered Juggernauts, I guess.
Well, they're Juggernauts, but Mordekaiser has the Death Grip, which is almost identical to Apprehend.
True. Yeah.
And then the Obliterate is very akin to the Q from Darius. I'm forgetting the name. Is it Decimate? Or is that his W?
I just call it Spinny Axe.
I'm not... Yeah. Okay, Spinny Axe.
I think it is Decimate, though. I think you're right.
That definitely is there. So the Q on both Mordekaiser and Darius, very, very similar. Their play pattern, very, very similar. The passive stack up and then not wanting to fight them, very similar. And then obviously the kills that they try to go for, I guess, a little bit different, but they are considered Dittos by many people, especially because of their play style inside of the laning phase. So this is going to be the two team compositions: Mordekaiser, Sett, Azir, Senna, and Wukong on the side of Dynamics versus Darius, Skarner, Zoe, Ashe, and Pantheon. And honestly, SeolHaeOne Prince's their draft is all over the place. It doesn't really have a very big core identity. If Darius falls behind, he's going to be perma-useless for the rest of the game. So we gotta keep our eyes on top lane to see who's the first person to get the edge up there.
The thing that I do like about SeolHaeOne Prince, their composition, is the amount of pick potential as we hop onto the Rift here for game number 2. Like, if anyone gets hit by a bubble, then Flawless gets to flash in, sprint away, and then you've got Apprehend as well. Then you can layer through the stun from the Pantheon, even an arrow coming out from the Ashe. Like, there is so much single target pick here for SeolHaeOne Prince. So if they can open the map up, get themselves early advantages, then Dynamics just won't be able to do anything by themselves. They won't be able to sit in a side lane and farm because of the incredible range of the engage coming through from SeolHaeOne Prince.
And let's see how this game is going to go. 15 gold start here for both Azir and Mordekaiser.
Perfect.
Is pretty nice, and you can see that Skarner is going to start, looks like on the red buff. Trigger going to come over here and get the gold for himself. Gets 15 gold. Curious that he didn't actually just wait for Mia to be there as well. It's a little bit surprising. Now, one of the things I want to point out immediately is that ikssu has teleport on Darius, and if a lot of people have followed the Darius one-trick ponies that get very, very high on Challenger Korea or Ionia, most of them almost always go Ghost for kill pressure and lane manipulation, using the Ghost to threaten lethal very early on, blowing the opponent's flash, and then having Flash Apprehend available for kill confirms, basically, whenever opponents misstep on positioning, especially once you get Phage, you get the added movement speed and whatnot. So ikssu taking teleport is leaving me scratching my head a little bit.
Yeah, it's also weird that he's not taking phase rush as well.
But I really want to see top lane. Yeah, it's all around very bizarre what is going on. Now, he might be taking Conqueror because it's Juggernaut versus Juggernaut, and so he values the healing as well as the adaptive stacks versus the Mordekaiser, thinking, well, I don't need that much movement speed because of the nature of my opponent in this match. Now, Rich is actually getting the better end of the first trade.
And that's not how it should work.
This is pretty big.
If I go back into my Darius handbook, he's all about destroying his opponents in the early game, as Apprehend's also going to miss. And yeah, things going pretty okay for Rich thus far.
And everything going pretty good.
Surprisingly, Darius and Skarner first picks so far here for summer. Weird.
Yeah. This is pretty interesting. Now, Rich does not want to get zoned out of that cannon, actually going to use the Death Grip in order to farm it. And Flawless now on the right-hand side, he's going to pick up the Scuttle Crab. Sett went for a full clear.
Yep. The OG Scorpion skin as well coming out for Flawless. I was always a fan of the sort of more the rocky, mossy one. I really liked that skin.
Yeah.
They were the two release skins that came out with Skarner. Was a big fan. And then sort of like the lawnmower skin came out after that. ikssu does get a decent trade here onto Rich. Passive, quite frustrating to deal with. As ikssu is just going to wander away after Wing that last minion. Back will come through here from Beyond, who does find Flawless. But there's a good stun that lands. Bubble is going to block Beyond off, and he does get his flash. Really nicely done there from Keine.
Nice bubble being cast by him. Kuzan comes off of the teleport with boots and null magic mantle. And meanwhile, down here in bot lane, Trigger and Mia, they're doing a pretty okay job at Pantheon, Pantheon and Ashe, but Mia's mana is still very high, so even though we're not getting to see the lane entirely, it is a bit bizarre that he's being so conservative with his mana pool, rather than trying to harass and poke down the opponents, and ikssu getting annihilated in a trade.
Will apprehend back. Decimate's pretty good as he fully stacks the passive. No ultimate or anything like that. deokdam taking a lot of damage here as Mia shields himself up. Trigger on the run away from GuGer, who does. Okay, meanwhile, fight towards the top side as Rich gets a big shield. The passive should be able to burn down at first blood. Goes to ikssu now. Beyond chasing after Flawless. But Crystal Slash comes out. Beyond not going to be able to follow up here onto the Scorpion. So 1-for-1 trade in the end. SeolHaeOne Prince with a slight advantage.
Yeah, SeolHaeOne Prince managed to get the first blood, and it goes on to the Darius, whereas the kill for Mordekaiser...
Beyond just punches him in the face. ikssu now in trouble. Death Grip comes back, but it might have actually helped, as Apprehend is good this time.
Yeah, that actually... Yeah, it was the wrong way. And now Rich is actually going to push too fast, so he can't utilize these Spellcaster minions to help him crash the cannon wave. But nonetheless, though... Rich, I believe, got EXP. Well, yeah, he definitely got EXP for the kill onto Flawless. So, 2 kills now onto Beyond. And Flawless on this Skarner, he's going to be falling a little bit behind. Not the end of the world. It is... level 6.
Going to put him in the death
level 6 for Darius.
Immediately, as he gets the passive, Beyond is going to turn up. Only level 5, so can't superplex anyone, but ikssu is still probably going to die. The Decimate does come out, buys some time, and the ulti comes through! The resets, the double, and ikssu! He turns it all around!
And that is a super big double kill up in top lane. ikssu barely managed to get level 6 at the same time as Rich. Rich had flash available, but not able to do anything, and this is going to swing top lane so much in SeolHaeOne Prince's favor. Darius actually, he's going to pick up a Sheen now along with the Phage. That is going to be lights out for Mordekaiser's ability to trade. And, I mean, things are just going his way now. He gets a double solo kill, by the way. So, Riot, a couple of patches ago, they shifted the XP gain on solo kills and isolated kills, and a lot of people had in mind Darius inside of solo queue for stuff like that. We take a look at the replay here. Spacebreaker comes in, Killguts down onto ikssu, Flawless just trying to run back into the jungle. I have no idea why he's taking that path. And then pay attention to Rich. Now imagine if Rich did the invert and shoved him back into Sett. ikssu would have been so far down on EXP, and then right here, ikssu gets level 6 Death Realm right away to steal the stats away from the opponent, and for some reason, Rich actually kept fighting with Darius, and letting him just get all of the stacks up, double kill reset.
And it's so adorable, because normally it's ikssu the cheerleader for the rest of his team. This time, the rest of his team were cheering him on. Must be cathartic. As now, with just over a 1,000 gold lead, Dynamics are going to try it again. Control Ward's spotted here in this brush, I think. Beyond is still... He's just... What? That was weird.
Yeah, I think that... Wait.
Was that invisible?
It's in the Death Realm!
Of course, so it's not actually providing any vision. I don't think.
Ooh, okay.
Very weird.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that is a very bizarre interaction.
One of those things that happens is... ikssu, I believe, put that one down himself. Meanwhile, here on the bottom side of the map, Dynamics just trying to get as much farm on this Wukong as they can, and it's not really working out. Currently 20 behind the Ashe, but a very difficult matchup here, right? You're not expected to win. Just we're hoping that Dynamics can utilize a couple of carries rather than just one, with Senna being a lot more relevant later game, being able to pick up so many of those vessels. Keine has a ghost for himself, but he's otherwise just trying to get this shove forward. Good stun will land there as GuGer goes through with the Cyclone. He's ignited, gets the double knockup. But deokdam not able to offer enough back, and Ashe is just going to be able to pick up that kill. 4-2 now in favor of SeolHaeOne Prince, and they've turned this series on its head already.
Yeah, I mean, they're up 2,000 gold right now at 9 minutes, and deokdam, I mean, I don't know what that trade was. GuGer had teleport available. He could have TP'd first before trying to make that play. And now, SeolHaeOne Prince, they're going to get the Rip Herald for themselves. And ikssu, he's going to come up here into top lane, apprehend onto the Mordekaiser. Yeah. There it is.
And it's just so easy now, right?
QW.
Like, oh, man. Yeah. Darius, when he gets ahead, we all remember from solo queue, it's like, you don't need to really do anything. As okay, Flawless, going to Hex Flash over. Rich, he's going to get pulled back. I believe he got the Death Realm off beforehand, as now he's just fighting against Flawless. Stun will come down. ikssu wants to try and pull him back yet again. There's another apprehend, but the Dawning Shadow flies forward, and Rich will survive.
And so that ends up actually being pretty okay for Dynamics. They managed to repel the Skarner for the time being. Mordekaiser continuing to just try to farm up in top lane, just under a 2,000 gold advantage for SeolHaeOne Prince. And we'll see what ends up happening in the later stage team fights as well. That's when Wukong, Senna, and friends are really going to be strong. Azir's going to eventually enter the fray. So we still have ways to go. First Dragon did go to SeolHaeOne Prince though, so they can consider trying to rush for a soul point.
Alright, in comes the ulti. Oh no, deokdam is super dead. That is an extraordinarily squishy Senna. And it's even Flawless that's able to grab that kill. And that's good news for SeolHaeOne Prince, because he was falling behind. Now has the Herald and is going to spawn it over the wall. That's going to net them a whole bunch of plates. And SeolHaeOne Prince are actually riding this snowball really nicely. Yeah, Shelly is eventually going to get that charge, and all of that plate gold will go over to SeolHaeOne Prince, their bottom lane, and of course their jungler. This Kuzan did have inside track to getting towards the bottom side, but he's a little bit late in moving. 2 minutes on the Ocean Drake. And so far so good for SeolHaeOne Prince, moving this game to a 3-game series.
Well, it does look like everything is going their way. They have a 3,000 gold advantage right now, and we saw the stats for the win rate at 15, so that we would keep that in mind for this series and how stuff could end up going in the early stages. And realistically, everything for SeolHaeOne Prince right now, it's exactly what they could want. I mean, Zoe and Azir, they are just going somewhat even, but a lot of your kills are on the Darius. You have a kill on the Ashe as well. Pantheon, being the kill lane that he is, does have a serrated Dirk, so
yeah.
It will be a very powerful champion later in the game. Yep. And
Flash
there it is. Bread and butter.
From Kuzan, though, will get him out, and he shifts some sands all the way over towards the Raptor camp, and he will survive. So Flawless, no Flash, and no Impale, but Hex Flash being there does mean that the Skarner has a little bit more relevance, even without a fresh Flash cooldown. As his Cinderhawk complete.
And beyond, feeling the A a little bit lost right now inside of this game. We can look at the replay here. Pantheon.
잠깐만 이거 아직도 본 거 같은데? 나 더 말아도 모르겠어.
He ends up ulting down.
잡았어.
Right on top of deokdam. And it's just a very easy kill picked up by him.
There's a cacophony in that chat as well, man. They are yelling at each other all over the place. And often when you're a team that's lost a lot, as I'm going to hold the thought, as Mia is going to get stunned up, face broken, but will stun beyond. And Mia will flash his way to safety, so no pick available here for Dynamics as Kuzan. He's been farming very well, but hasn't really been able to do anything else as the Decimate comes forward. That's a good death grip. The Apprehend also lands. The ulti comes forward. Flash from ikssu. Rich uses the passive, turns it around, and we've just got solo kills everywhere on both sides of the matchup. That is big money going over to the Mordekaiser.
You got 650 gold, but also so much EXP because of the nature of the solo kill and the fact that ikssu was ahead of him so much in level. So that is a massive shutdown. Now, ikssu does have teleport available, but Rich is now going to bite back. He's going to get a turret plate of his own. Now there's wards to the south and to the left, so ikssu could maybe try to TP back in and then run at Mordekaiser, but because Rich does not stay for a second plate, he's going to respect it. He's going to back up. He has Ninja Tab Eyes as well as Seekers.
Yeah.
And this is very important, that kill onto Darius. It's keeping dynamics in this game. When you look at Rich, and look at how late he got the renewable potion, by the way. Almost when he was almost dead, he ended up popping. Imagine if he would have died to a bleed or something before the obliterate went down.
The W is also so
little bit of a big
powerful.
blunder.
As Bjorn trying to get out of the way of Flawless, does break his face, but the Impale comes in. deokdam, Dawning Shadow will get a big shield, as well as the Haymaker from beyond. He's going to flash to try and get himself out of there. The Piercing Darkness doesn't really do too much, but the Emperor's Divide does. Mia getting taken down extremely low. GuGer grabs that kill, make it a double, as Flawless will fall as well. Flash forward, Snare will land. deokdam is angry, and Keine is going to get taken down very low, as in goes Kuzan and blast cones Keine away. That's not really what he wanted, but he's not going to waste anything for it. Actually, I think he flashed. That's a bit of a shame.
Well, that is still a pretty big turn of events for Dynamics here. They get themselves a couple of kills underneath their belt. They stunt SeolHaeOne Prince Mia. Now, he does have Grand Skyfall, but I don't think that they're going to go for this play. I think that would be very trolly-poly.
They're not going to do the trolly-poly
if they would
play.
end up going for it. And Rich now going to come over here and look to try to get the Scuttle Crab. This is very, very risky. He's going to just have to...
He's being caught out of position. Does get the Rift Scuttler. And then will flash himself out of the way. Grand Skyfall, like you were talking about, does come out. Another blast cone for the epic value. And Rich is just going to say it's all okay.
And so he ends up expending his flash to get that Scuttle Crab, but in doing so, he also dragged ikssu down through the... Oh man, if he gets the blue, he saved the blue.
Is this the dream? Yeah, there's the combo. Death comes out as well, and Rich is angry. Doesn't find the obliterate, but there's the passive. We've got passives going on either side, and there's the obliterate we were talking about. I feel like Rich has just got too much armor at the moment. As the snare comes down, that was very, very weird. Blast Cone not quite able to get him out, but the Death Realm is going to end, and now ikssu is on a merry chase. There are 4 people here. I feel like this is the life of the Darius. It's like 1 versus 4, no matter which game you're playing. And it is going to be Kuzan that grabs that kill. GuGer lying in wait. I'm not entirely sure what for. As he does go out of the brush, finds the Cyclone. Arrow's going to hit the decoy. The GuGer is still going to get poked out, and they will lose this turret.
Yep. And they're going to drop the turret, but it's fine. There's no more plates remaining. Beyond, meanwhile, he's going to get the Rift Herald at the top left. And Rich is maybe getting jumped on. Now, as long as he doesn't hit Flawless...
He does, though. And then Flawless impales him, so he's dead. I feel like that could have been played differently.
I think so, but I think Flawless will kill all the minions and then impale him anyway, but it's a nice pickup for SeolHaeOne Prince. They get themselves a nice little kill there. They're still ahead about 1,500 gold. If you take a look at this replay from a little while ago, Facebreaker into Superplex. Azir goes to sleep to the north. And then all the members from Dynamics, they're just able to get there. Emperor's Divide acting as a very good blockade. Nowhere really to go. Keine then getting locked up, and this was Rich winning 2 of the jungle minion fights. First the Scuttle Crab, then the blue buff. But definitely a very good series of events for Dynamics here in this game. And watch the sit-down effect.
Yeah, that was very weird.
That ended up happening. Kuzan was there to pick up the kill regardless, though. And
in the meantime, Mia going to get taken down very, very low. He's super squishy, and Kuzan's going to get yet another kill. And now, Dynamics do have a kill lead, but not quite a gold lead yet. Okay, Death Realm comes in, and now we're fighting one more time. Mano a mano, Darius versus Mordekaiser, the Juggernaut off. And in goes deokdam to make it completely one-sided. That is not fair, but it is still a win for Dynamics.
In Dynamics, I mean, they're still down in gold a little bit, even though SeolHaeOne Prince are chain feeding right now. They are absolutely, this is a buffet. And Dynamics are VIP.
This is an all-you-can-eat.
So
this is definitely all-you-can-eat.
This is absolutely all-you-can-eat. And, you know, to be ikssu and to get that double kill, as well as the first blood, and then die 4 times. I mean, that's one of the worst things that you could have going on here inside of this game. One of the things, though, I will say is that ikssu did not lose to Boris. He does have the Trinity Force instead of the Black Cleaver here on Darius.
Beyond also might just get impaled here, and he does. Mega uber movement speed. Skarner will move Beyond back, and he's unable to even haymaker there, I don't think. But I do believe that regardless of whether or not he did have that available, he was still going to die.
Yeah.
And this game is very even still now, LS. This is very weird. 100% Fiesta.
Still very neck and neck. And you can see the deokdam. He's going Black Cleaver. Wukong went for the Trinity Force. There's a redemption on Zoe. Keine not actually going to activate it, which is a little bit surprising, to interrupt the assumed recall of the Senna. Mia's going to barely make it away.
That was his real flash.
And Keine just committed. That was his real flash. He's trolling out of his mind right now. So, solo Q Prime coming out here.
Okay, get those subs out, I guess.
For Keine. Yeah.
This was that fight from a while ago. I don't know how many replays we're going to have, but this is the first one.
There's definitely a lot of highlights here inside of this game. That was a very weird stun. And then ikssu also just trying to shove the wave instantly is a little bit bewildering as well for himself. He dies immediately thereafter. And now coming back into live, 100 gold discrepancy. This Infernal Dragon is so big for both of these parties. Because
good
whoever
face
wins
breaker.
it,
Mia dives over, but Beyond's got such a huge shield from the Dawning Shadow and the Haymaker. Now GuGer dives on in, but that's his decoy that's soaking so much of the damage. Kuzan gets into the backline, but his team's not even there, and he's wiped out. Trigger, however, is going to suffer the same fate, and ikssu incredibly low. The Decimate's starting to stack up, but it's a double kill for Rich. The Mordekaiser has been fed. And he is now tearing apart SeolHaeOne Prince, and the first Infernal Drake should go to them.
Yeah, and Keine, I mean, he has a fake flash available to him. And so we'll see if he can actually do anything. Deokdam's here, though.
Yeah, he's going to go underwater.
And they're just going to let Mordekaiser, they're just going to let Mordekaiser take the Infernal Dragon. I really wish that we could see the stats of some of these champions, just so we could get a rough approximate of the gold value. Mia's going to come in, and maybe if he was actually holding the spear, he could have potentially gotten the execute on the dragon.
5 levels behind the Mordekaiser right now. This is he's a very big boy. And that's actually one of those things like you were talking about with the solo kill goal experience, being so inflated. You can have level leads like this that are just a bit ludicrous.
And, I mean, we take a look at this replay. Mia goes over the wall to stun onto GuGer, but it just doesn't do anything. Sets up for the Dawning Shadow really well. Kuzan goes in. He ends up dying, but he draws so much attention. GuGer gets the kill onto Trigger. Keine mismanaging his spacing, actually. Backs up a little bit too far. He had the fake flash. And then not able to get any follow-up there. Almost killed Wukong a second later, but now, I mean, as we come back into live, Dynamics now with the gold lead, with the better dragons now as well. They have the Infernal bolstering their stats. The Mordekaiser is massive. There's no QSS stacks on the enemy team yet. 4 minutes until the next Infernal Dragon is going to come up.
Deokdam face checking for no reason at all is going to get immediately punished.
Yeah, that was a bit peculiar by deokdam. Because there's no way that either team actually gets Baron right now. Mordekaiser's 14.5 right now in levels, by the way.
Man.
He is so big. He's really living up to the Juggernaut. Has Zanya's Hourglass and Nashor's Tooth for his itemization. Curious when he's going to end up getting Leandri's or Rylai's.
I do like that he's just focused purely on fighting a melee champion that does physical damage, right? Now he's never going to lose a fight against ikssu. He's got so much armor. And he can even, I believe, pop the ultimate as well, although I think you get a reduced cooldown by just using the Zonyas. Might need to be corrected on that one. It's been a while since I've had to think about Darius mechanics. Just hasn't really been a part of competitive play.
Well, it is nice to see new champions like this eventually appear inside of competitive play.
Yeah.
Anytime they do show their faces. I think this was actually a really good why can't I speak? Counter pick for Darius. And At this point,
Why do we have to watch
things are... I do not know why this replay is actually going on here.
deokdam inted. Let's have a look at it again. Yes, he inted. Good. Confirmed.
Yes. Really good. Really good.
And by in, I mean, he definitely didn't
Absolutely
intentionally want to die there, but it was a pretty poor decision to make. As this game is still real close. It's 2 minutes until the next Infernal Drake. But as far as compositions are concerned, I just don't know what SeolHaeOne Prince are going to do about Rich. And they've already decided to start things off by not building any QSSs yet. And so the next fight is still going to be very, very difficult. I mean, Rich can just choose who he wants to kill. And he will kill them very quickly.
Yeah. And everything, I think, is going really well for Dynamics here. In this game, even though the gold score is only 200 in their favor, their team composition's a lot better at these brawlery fights because Senna is going to keep ramping up. Zoe's going to start losing effectiveness as more and more champions just have the ability to kill her. And when she's paired with Ashe, it's very different than when she's paired with Ezreal, because it's mostly there to have a follow-up engage. The bubble starts, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow starts, and they're sort of fulfilling the same role. Also, Boris is here to play, though, as Zoe picked up the Morello, so apparently a little bit too much to ask for Pantheon, Darius, or Ashe to do it. I mean, Ashe already did have the Grievous. Skarner could have even picked up a Bramble Vest or something. It's just very hard for Zoe to reliably apply the Grievous wounds inside of team fights. Not the greatest allocation of gold. Yeah. And so with Infernal Dragon in 40 seconds, McDelivery on the menu, I'm pretty sure Dynamics is loving it.
Definitely loving it. Oh my god, it's pretty egregious actually, the amount of McDonald's flags that are all over the place, but as an OCE watcher, I am definitely a fan of fast food companies sponsoring our League of Legends tournaments, because that has been something that's been happening for quite some time over in my region. As now, Dynamics looking to try and zone SeolHaeOne Prince away, and they should be able to do so. Beyond not going to go in for anything though. As Facebreaker into Death's Grasp is actually a hell of a lot of CC and displacement here for Dynamics.
Yes.
Interested to see how that's going to work in a team fight.
Dynamics are just going to burst this Infernal Dragon. And we'll see. Flawless going in. Righteous Blade.
Yeah.
GuGer taking a lot of damage.
The death realm, Flawless not going to be able to do anything, and the Drake is going to be taken. Soul Point now there as the double obliterate comes down. Trigger in trouble. There's a huge 3-man Facebreaker. Empress Divide only onto ikssu. Puts him into the back line, but he's just not strong enough anymore. Mia's going to go down. Flawless now trying to do what he can. Keen has picked up a flash, and Flawless trying to kite this one out and will at least get out of there. Rich now just going to prepare this minion wave, takes down the cannon creep, and will eliminate this outer turret as well. And I have a feeling the SeolHaeOne Prince's time is up.
Yeah, I definitely think that this game is spiraling beyond the point of being able to be salvaged here. Looks like they were going to try to go for the Baron. Now there is a blast cone up. And so they're going to want to take that down before attempting it. No, they're actually just going to back off because Kuzan gets tagged a little bit, gets brought to a very low HP value. Dynamics doesn't need to rush anything right now because they have Infernal Soul Point being threatened and SeolHaeOne Prince are so far away from it. And again, the longer that the game goes, the stronger Senna's going to keep getting, the stronger Azir's going to keep getting. Skarner is the same champion right now that he will be at 40 minutes. Darius is also pretty much the same champion right now that he'll be for the foreseeable future, and Zoe's role, because she's stunted. I have no idea what SeolHaeOne Prince are doing right now.
Rich immediately going to get burst down. It's going to be the Darius grabbing that kill. Do they have enough after this? He was so incredibly tanky, but GuGer trying to save the rest of his team. He will eventually go down. Some very low health bars on SeolHaeOne Prince's side as Flawless gets the impale. So much damage with the Grand Skyfall. SeolHaeOne Prince wiped the floor with Dynamics. What a disaster.
And so, just like that, they swing the gold lead back into their favor. They get a lot of shutdowns in EXP that way. We're taking a replay from a moment ago. Death Realm by Bridge immediately onto Flawless. And this goes over here. Flawless gets superplexed, picked up. Ikssu eventually gets thrown right into deokdam and Beyond. Beyond is the one that gets the kill on him. 450 gold going over to him. We take a look at Rich. at what's happening here.
잠깐만,
Death Grip
먼저
onto Skarner. Obliterate goes down. He gets
야 이거 나
stunned.
나오면
He's
쌈
looking
보자.
for
오케이.
everything,
도이
but you
있어.
can see he's
들어갈게.
probably looking at his teammates' monitors there. That's why he's clicking
다리우스부터
right
때려야 될 듯?
onto the Ashe as well as the
쟤 노플이야.
Mordekaiser.
야
Tries to
노플이야.
get the
S
kill,
노플이야.
but
까비
Mordekaiser,
까비.
he's a bit of a heavy dude. Doesn't quite have anything. Zoe puts Mordekaiser to sleep. They actually chain the CC up perfectly, so no Death Realm comes out. And you know what this reminds me of, Atlas, is in the first series, the team fight that went one way, but it was really just like a fluke.
Right.
This one feels the same exact way. This is not a normal team fight. The very next fight that takes place, SeolHaeOne Prince is just going to get blown out of the water.
Well, I mean, there's no need to share the script completely, as that next fight should be happening in about 1.5 minutes. So keep your eyes on that clock. Look for about, 30 minutes and 30 to 40 seconds, something like that, when that next fight is going to be occurring. Milling about the mid lane, most likely, is Rich going to clean up this bottom side. He has that Leandries that you were talking about now completed, on top of all of those armor items and a fair bit of damage that he has available to himself. It's a very, very strong Mordekaiser at this point into the game. And I like Mordekaisers that forego things like the Proto Belt, that can feel like a waste of money as you get to later stages of the game.
As he picks up the Kindle Gem. You know what, just stop talking, honestly. Look, I know that you and Boris are in cahoots.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
It's
honestly, it's a little ridiculous.
Please tell me that's a spirit.
You need to come to me.
I mean, he could build it. It's not awful on Mordekaiser. But you probably wouldn't opt in. As Dynamics getting themselves some positioning. As we were talking about, it's another 30 seconds until that team fight that's going to decide the game. This good decoy comes out from GuGer. Going to keep his health bar up. Keine over the top. Now, team's getting desperate.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage by Keine. Suffers some on his own, but Senna's going to be able to heal up the damage.
10 seconds to go.
Keine now trying to restore. Yep, has a Fate Cleanse available, flawless, looking for something. I don't know why Dynamics are doing this. We see LCK teams do this also. Okay.
Okay, time's up. Team fight ready to go. I'm looking at the pages of the script. That's exactly what it said, but we're not going for it just yet. Good bubble.
Ooh,
Connecting onto Beyond. Not going to be able to find the paddle start. Kuzan really as well getting poked out.
Keine to try to find something here. Flawless. Looking for an impale target. Beyond trying to run in here. Sundisk does finally end up falling.
Yeah, did buy them some space in the mid lane though, as Keine over the wall. Good bubble lands once again onto Rich, who has been poked out of this fight. Snare onto Flawless, but he's very tanky as Keine. Oh, Arrow is going to connect with the backline. deokdam immediately cleanses as there's the Dawning Shadow. Good Haymaker lands onto triggers. The Cyclone gets into the backline as well. Beyond goes down and it will be the Ashe taken out of the fight. Flawless as well is going to fall. Keine trying to escape now as Rich flashing forward. This time he's alive, and this time Dynamics will obliterate the team fight. They can get themselves an Infernal Soul if they would like, but it looks like Dynamics want to break the base.
Yeah. With the Senna, they're going to be able to heal all of their teammates up. Rich has teleport. GuGer has teleport, and he's matching some of the death timers on the side of SeolHaeOne Prince. So Dynamics, they're pushing in 36 kill score. Ikssu knows that he has to try to get the wave. And you can see that some of
okay, we won't want the Infernal Soul.
They're gonna...
That's what Dynamics wants.
Alright, I thought... Yeah, they're playing it as safe as possible. I guess they're respecting the fact that Keine has teleport, but it really does feel like they could have gotten the inhibitor as well as the Infernal Soul. Now, there is the argument to be had that the inhibitor is somewhat irrelevant, because as long as there's a cannon minion, they can probably end the game timer being the way that it is. Ikssu dies for no reason. It's one of the specials here.
Yep.
Okay. So, glad that you're here with
I wouldn't
me,
order
Atlas,
that.
holding my hand through this.
If I saw that on the specials board, probably wouldn't be ordering it.
There is something about that. We take a look at the team fight. Meanwhile, in live, though, we're going to come back into it.
Trying to go 1v3 for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
Grasp comes in, and Flawless not going to be able to go after the monkey, but he's going to have to go home. That was a very odd move, but he is not going to be punished for it completely. Good flash. Is one that Keine actually felt at me. Is going to go down as an afterthought as Beyond looking for a Haymaker target. Doesn't quite get it off. Is Rich not going to find that Death Grip either. Keine over the wall will take half of his health bar. He's continuing to tick down. There's the flash forward, and the Zoe has been caught out and taken down. GuGer will be able to grab that kill as now another Death Realm comes in. Trigger. Yeah, you're not winning this fight, my friend, as the Obliterate comes in. And there's the Dawning Shadow as well to make sure that Dynamics are not dying. Another flash comes out as Rich is just a monster this game.
Yeah. Everyone on Dynamics just doing a very good job. GuGer and Kuzan, they're going to shove in that mid-minion wave, and it looks like they're going to escort the minions. They're calling to end. 30 seconds. Teleport available on Rich so he can lock up one of the or actually he can lock up both of the turrets. Now, this one is a little bit more... There's a little bit more moxie in this ending. For Dynamics, you can see they're going to raise one of the turrets. Grand Skyfall goes in.
Trying to mitigate as much damage as possible. The Impale not going to make it to the fountain as Flawless is just going to look a bit silly when he dies. And Dynamics, I mean, Infernal Soul's pretty damn good, LS, and they're going to use it to just destroy. SeolHaeOne Prince, Trigger, and Keine are going to be up, but they have no front line. And Rich is going to press Death Realm and start emoting. He's going to die, but so is the Nexus, and that's what matters. As Dynamics go out